What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and in today's video, I'm going to show you the absolute best Pokemon to solo the Delphox raids in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I know this is the second week of Delphox raids, and I posted some solo builds before with Heatran and some other Pokemon, but this one is one I couldn't resist covering as I think it's the most consistent in the game at the moment. Of course, guys, if you like this type of content, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. Consider joining the Pan fam today by hitting that join channel member button below. So let's dive into it. So why do you want to farm the Delphox? If you don't know, it gives a lot of calcium, which is the vitamin that gives you special attack, and that's phenomenal, especially if you're doing a lot of raids or VGC action. Now, the Pokemon build that we're going to be using to farm this Delphox is going to be no other than Mr. Mega Man himself, Armarouge. Now, I talked about Surulege in a previous video, which is really phenomenal for Violet players, but Scarlet players really didn't have that access. But Scarlet players actually ends up coming on top here because Armarouge ends up being the most consistent Pokemon for this raid solo. So the Armarouge we're going to be running is going to be a Tera Psychic one, which should be fairly easy to get. And we're going to be using a Covert Cloak item. This is going to prevent secondary effects from hurting us in battle. So Psychic from the Delphox could lower our SPDF by 1. There's a 10% chance that's happening, and it's going to be using Psychic a lot on us. So this is going to prevent any sort of SPDF drops, adding a lot more consistency to the raid process. Now, we're going to go max HP, max special attack, modest nature. You could go max SPDF here, but I actually think max HP ends up being a little bit better overall for this raid. And the ability is going to be Flash Fire. This is going to be an ability that makes it so we are immune to all the fire type attacks. So we're going to be immune to Will-O-Wisp. We're going to be immune to Fire Blast. So we're going to be great. And then we're going to resist Psychic. We're a natural Psychic typing there as well. And because we are a fire type, we're going to resist the fairy type move Dazzling Gleam. So Armarouge is phenomenal for all the resisting of the Delphox's moves. Now, the moves that we're going to be going for is Flash Cannon. We're going to use Flash Cannon a couple times during the battle to get our Tera Orb up. We're going to be setting up a lot of Calm Minds in the beginning. This is going to give us a plus 1 to special attack and SPDF every time we use it. And we want to use this 6 times. Then Acid Spray is a phenomenal move as we're going to lower the SPDF stat of the Delphox by 2 every time we hit it. And it goes through shields. So unlike Fake Tears, Acid Spray goes through shields because it is a damaging move, and secondary effect is what lowers the SPDF, which is really great and useful for the raid. And the last is going to be our Tactical Nuke with Stored Power. Now, every time we have a stat buff, Stored Power does an additional 20 damage. So Calm Mind gives us 2 buffs, 1 to special attack, 1 to special defense. So 1 Calm Mind, Stored Power is going to do 60 instead of 20. Now, if we have, 6 Calm Minds, and then that Delphox is at -6, we have Tera Psychic, which is going to be Stab, super effective, and Tera Boosted because we're original have the Stab. This is going to nuke the Delphox, and it's going to make this farm incredibly easy. So this is going to be a super easy raid for us to do with this Armarouge. And then hopefully once you get this Delphox and you're done farming, you can potentially even breed your Delphox for a shiny Finnegan. We are going to be giving those away on the channel very soon. Stay tuned for information on that. So let's do this raid just straight up raw, unedited with this Armarouge. Going to be relatively simple overall, and we're going to challenge alone. Of course, if you have AI partners who do help you out, so there's some good ones that do status effects. Ones that provide static is really nice, or glare is going to be really good. To paralyze the Delphox is always going to be helpful. Freeze is really helpful as well. I got lucky once with a Weavile using Ice Punch. Got a couple of freezes, so that was always helpful as well too. But sometimes you don't get lucky, but luckily the Armarouge doesn't really care whether you are lucky or not, as it's just really consistent. Good. All right, so we got a bunch of decent Pokemon. None of them are really that great overall at the end of the day here. Intimidate's not going to matter because it is a special attacker, and it is going to use Dazzling Gleam on turn 0, which is fine with me, honestly. It's not going to be a big deal at all. It's not going to do too much damage here either. So, okay, so turn 1, we're just going to set up Calm Minds. And really, we're going to set up Calm Minds 6 times in the beginning here. And that Flash Fire boost helps us out. Of course, because we are soloing, the AI will give us a free defense cheers just to make us extra bulky. And you can see we're doing great HP wise. You don't really need to worry about recovering any sort of HP in this, because we're setting up our special defense. And since the Delphox is a special attacker and resists all the moves, it's really only going to tickle us in general. So we're just really sit here and just get the setup going, which is really phenomenal stuff here. The only bad thing that can really happen to us if we get hit by a crit, but I mean, that's a psychic. That's a stab psychic, and that didn't really do much at +2. And it's only going to get worse for the Delphox the more we go into this raid. And we actually got some decent AI opponents, or AI partners, with the Corviknight being a steel type, using stab, super effective iron heads. But that's going to help with a little bit of chip damage as well. Now, we don't really care about the Delphox actually setting up a shield here. It's fine. We're totally okay with that. It doesn't really change our game plan. We still got to hit the +6, and so we have 3 more turns of setting up here. All right. And there's still going to be a little bit of chip damage happening on the Tera shield, but our AI partners really aren't going to do much damage here at all. So the big thing we're waiting for is, the reason why we're not doing Acid Spray first is the Delphox will remove its stat decreases on itself first. So this is why we buff ourselves first, and then we're waiting essentially for it to remove all its stat debuffs, and then we hit the Acid Sprays just to make it even. And no crits yet. I mean, crits are a 4% chance. They will go through all the debuffs. So we are 1 away from getting max, and then once we hit this max, we're good to go, and we're gonna hit the flash cannon a couple of times, just enough times that we can essentially get the Tera going. Or if, whatever happens first, whether we get the Tera or whether the Delphox removes his debuffs. But now we start hitting Flash Cannon to actually deal some decent chip damage here. No point in doing the Acid Sprays yet. It's not going to do a lot of damage, and also, like, we don't want to essentially waste turns there. All right, it took our Tera Orb charge. That's A-okay with me. And now it's finally removed negative effects on itself. Now we want to hit Acid Spray. Now we want to do Acid Spray 3 times. And it's taking our air Tera charge once, so we're going to still have to attack 3 more times. And we're about 50% done with the raid now. All right, there you go, the stat debuff going through. So 2 more of these. The burn is funny, but it doesn't really matter for us personally, but it is pretty hilarious. All right, no crit. So 1 more Acid Spray, and then we can Tera Sword Power this thing. Absolutely go through it. Dazzling Limb. It actually may be out of Psychic. So if you didn't know, raid Pokemon still have usage on their moves. So they could run out of moves, and it only has 10 Psychics. So may have actually ran out of Psychics at this point. Really awesome. And now we can Tera Stored Power right through this. It's going to be a lot. I mean, we're +6 on the special attack and special defense side, stacking onto the Stored Power, and the Delphox is -6 on the Spadef side. And this is going to be Stab, Tera boosted. This is going to be phenomenal. We're going to delete this Fox pretty easily here in general. All right, once again, Dazzling Gleam. We don't resist this anymore, but we are +6 Spadef, so it doesn't really matter at all. Even if it had Nasty Plot up, wouldn't matter whatsoever in this situation. We're going to hit hard, and we absolutely nuke it. And there you go. That's the easiest, most consistent way to solo Delphox right now. So I hope you enjoy farming this thing for all the calciums. It has a bunch of great items that you can farm here. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a great one.